change it?
No.
Can't change it, right? So it does you no good to dwell on it. Sometimes we dwell on maybe bad points, but sometimes we dwell on good points, right? How many times have you guys seen players go, they hit a great shot, they're like, give me applause, give me applause, give me applause. They're still thinking about the great shot that they hit, and then before they know it, before they come back, they realize, oh shoot, I just lost the last 3 points, I didn't even realize it, right? So you cannot change what's happened already in the past. So when you play one point, whether it's good, whether it's bad, just know, hey, come back, play again, whatever point is in front of.
Incredible stuff. And then, yeah, he was going toe-to-toe with Carlos Alcaraz. And there were moments where he was coming up with really quite spectacular shots that burning Alcaraz, which I don't think Alcaraz, and even by Alcaraz's own admission, he wasn't used to feeling like that. He said, I mean, I can actually got the quote here. He says, Alcaraz said if he keeps playing at this level, I'm pretty sure I'm going to see him around more often. I'm just really happy to get through. I don't want to say I was surprised, but it was the first time I was playing against him. He just beat Jarry very easily, so that's impressive. And I had to be focused on my best. I'm not used to the feelings I had on the court. He is a really powerful player, plays really strong. So I felt like I was not dominating the game. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, if you're going to make Carlos Alcaraz feel like that, you've done something pretty good. Hello and welcome to this Tennis Asia TV live watch along for the Hangzhou Open semi-final clash between Alexander Bublik of Kazakhstan and Yibing from China, of course, from Hangzhou, where this tournament is being played. Yeah, he is born in Hangzhou, and of course, he's had a lot of trouble with injuries, and he's had a dream run here in Hangzhou. Wu Yibing, because he's come through against sixth seed Manarino, against Sebastian Korda from a set down, and again from a set down has taken out the number 2 seed and former world number 1 Daniil Medvedev. And that was one where he was down a set and a break, but stuck in there and eventually was able to take that second set and eventually get the win. He played tremendously in that third set. And yeah, he's got a highly aggressive game, exceptional from the baseline, amazing power. And of course, on these quick courts, you know, he can try and be really aggressive, and it eventually paid off for him last night. And it's not always easy against a player like Bublik, against Medvedev, who, you know, he has the defensive skills that he has. But of course, it will be quite a different matchup against Alexander Bublik, who, of course, has a tremendous serve and very much, unlike Medvedev, likes to keep the points short and sweet. And, you know, Bublik has come through pretty comfortably. He had a bye in the first round as the third seed, but he came through. Vukic, to be fair, yeah, he was down a set, managed to come back against Vukic. That was 6-7, 6-4, 6-4. But then he just came back through against Dalibor Severchina of Czech Republic. And yeah, they came through in very straightforward fashion, 6-1, 6-1. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, we can expect to see a lot of big serves off Bublik's racket, a lot of aces. So, of course, it's going to be important for Wu himself to be able to serve well. I mean, if he gets broken, it's going to be, you know, difficult, obviously, for him to get a break himself. And so that's going to be difficult. Having said that, I mean, you know, with the way that Wu plays and the aggression that he brings, and, you know, he's done very well in this tournament. If it clicks, then he can absolutely test Bublik on this surface. And yeah, well, with Bublik, sometimes you don't always know what kind of player we're going to see. If Wu keeps up the intensity, I think he can frustrate Bublik, and Bublik might start to unravel a little bit. But he's going to have to play very well. I mean, and of course, if we're looking at overall this season, Bublik has had a very good season, which means he's now, you know, back in the top 20, you know, including a quarterfinal run at the French Open. And then laterally, he won Halle on grass, beating Sinner along the way as well there. And then he made the fourth round in the US Open, eventually lost quite badly to Sinner, but nonetheless, in this matchup, I think it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, Wu highly motivated to do well at home, and certainly, you know, he's got nothing to lose here. I think he's just, you know, really glad to be able to make this semi-final. First semi-final for Wu since winning the title in Dallas in 2023, and that made him the first Chinese man to win an ATP title. And yeah, so he hasn't been in an ATP Tour level semi-final since that run, but here he is, and he's got a decent chance, I think, against Bublik, although, yeah, it's certainly not going to be easy. So we've just seen the players. They were on the court warming up. I've just seen Wu go off the court, so I'm not entirely sure what's up at the moment there. I kind of missed that there. Yesterday, they actually had to stop the match briefly because of the rain. We had to close the roof. Hopefully, we don't have any interruptions like that today. And yeah, so it looks like Wu is back in the court, and they are about to start. Yesterday, actually, I should say that he took a medical timeout, Wu, he had pain in his shoulder. Eventually, he came back and didn't seem to bother him too much late after that. So I don't know whether if it's just somewhat minor pain, obviously not ideal to have a right shoulder injury, but it looks like Wu is about to serve here. So good start there. He takes the first point. Wu Yibing. So if you are watching along, please leave a comment. Any questions? You can also use the poll. Who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be Wu or is it going to be Bublik? Hometown hero or the party pooper Bublik? 30 love already for Wu against Bublik. And Wu serving first. I mean, might give him a little bit of an advantage, but yeah, great serve down the tee from Wu. Another ace. 40 love. Yeah, so was it medical timeout yesterday? I mean, Wu on his shoulder, but it didn't seem to be bothering him that much in the last set yesterday against Medvedev. In that final set, he was extremely aggressive, incredible power tennis. That backhand was doing very well. And a little bit of an extended exchange there, and there was an error there from Wu with the forehand into the net. Of course, you never know. Bublik as well. Don't know how. I think he's been fine so far in this tournament. Most recently, he played the Davis Cup before this tournament for Kazakhstan against Korea. He had to actually retire from that match. He's down a set and a break against Konsumu. Yeah, he had a problem with his leg. 40-15 at the moment. That was a nice forehand up the line there from Wu, and he comes in to finish with the drive volley, carefully put away. Nice put away there, and that is the first game for Wu Yibing. Yeah, and of course, it might come into play, the fatigue, because Wu has been through, a couple of matches, 3-setters, and then he's not, he's played more matches than Bublik, because Bublik, being among the top 4 seeds, got a bye in the first round. So, yeah, whereas Bublik, as well, in his quarterfinal match came through 6-1, 6-1. So, yeah, the strain in his body is probably minimal, and perhaps it's going to be important to see how he does here. Oh, that's a good return there. First off from Wu against Bublik. But the aggression there from Bublik, he's so strong as well with his strokes, and he does very well, Bublik, to come out on top in that rally. Wu was really testing him, but a good point to start off there for Bublik, 15 love. Yeah, of course, Bublik can take the ball early with great power. First serve wide there from Bublik. Second serve into the net, so a double fault. I mean, the sort of carelessness a little bit can creep into the Bublik game. I mean, this is why, it can be a bit inconsistent, but this year has been different in terms of, it does seem like he's been taking, his tennis is pretty seriously, and he's, he's got results because of it. I mean, yeah, you don't end up 18 in the world if you're not playing well. Oh, yeah, lovely little drop shot there from Bublik. Yeah, he's got the trickery in his game. And that's why people enjoy watching him play, because he's, he's got an exciting game. There's no doubt about that, Bublik. High risk game, but it's a good game. And that was a good serve. Ace down the tee from Bublik. Big serve out wide, another ace. Bublik takes the game, and then Wu now to serve. So Bublik, good start, I have to say. Wu did test him a little bit early on in this set, though. Good serve down the middle from Wu, but it was returned, and backhand error into the net from Wu. Love 15. Not ideal for Wu here. I mean, certainly Wu would not want to go down an early break because, yeah, it's just much more difficult to break a player like Bublik. Yep, and then they got into an extended rally there, backhand to backhand exchange, and then it's the backhand error, which goes long from Wu, and it's love 30. Oh yeah, that was a nice forehand cross court there from Wu. Strong with depth. And yeah, Bublik couldn't control it. His forehand goes way out. Good response there from Wu. Obviously, down love 30. A little bit of pressure. And another good first serve that's unreturned or returned long. 30 all. Yeah, nice injection of pace there from Wu again. It's 40-30. Yeah, and perhaps a little bit of pressure, as I said, with love 30, but he's been dealing with it well. First serve is out, though. Second serve in, returned by Bublik. Backhand to backhand exchange here. Forehand from Wu, and that's a lovely forehand winner from the Chinese player. And he takes it 2-1. Still on serve. But that's a nice hold from Wu Yibing from love 30. Wins all the points and finishes it off with a beautifully struck forehand winner. If you are joining, please leave a comment or hit like and subscribe if you like this live stream. Interesting matchup this year. Wu, obviously the hometown favorite, and as I said, like, he's got such an exciting game. I don't know if you saw the clip earlier when I was talking about Wu's match against Alcaraz. I mean, that was last year at the Shanghai Masters, and yeah, Wu Yibing really, he really tested Alcaraz in that match, and taking him to a tiebreak. And there was moments when he was absolutely burning Alcaraz, and making Alcaraz look second best, and was dominating him at times. Of course, Alcaraz eventually does come through that tiebreak and eventually wins in straight sets. I think it was 7-6, 6-3 or something like that. But I mean, there was no doubt that it was a very impressive level from Wu, and he's got an extremely powerful game and athleticism to go with it. So yeah, it's just a bit of a shame for him to have had these injuries, but he's seemingly on a good roll at the moment. And yeah, this could be an interesting match. So Bublik now to serve. Big serve. It was returned okay. We're in a bit of a rally. Backhand from Wu. Forehand from Bublik. Oh my goodness. The forehand from Wu clipped off the tape and just managed to spin over the net. That was quite incredible. But yeah, another serve from Bublik. Yeah, straight down the tee, and it can't be returned by Wu. Yeah, and Bublik wasting no time between the points. He just loves to get those serves and smack them down as quickly as possible. And when you've got a serve like that, why not? First serve there that goes into the net. Going to be a second serve. Yeah, good second serve. It was returned by Wu, but then he sends eventually his backhand long. 30-15. Good serve there from Bublik. Ace again down the middle. 40-15. And I suppose, on the one hand, it's frustrating when Bublik can, finish these points so quickly. Yeah, another ace out wide there to take the game. But, if Wu is actually feeling a bit of fatigue, playing a player like Bublik sort of helps you a little bit in terms of you're not going to be getting in too many, real long exchanges. But obviously that means he's got to try and concentrate and, because he's not going to get too many chances to sort of get towards break points and find his way. He's probably not going to get too many chances to get on top. So second serve is going to be for Wu, though, as he starts this fifth game of the match. That's a good forehand inside out. Okay, backhand from Wu, backhand from Bublik, backhand from Wu, forehand from Bublik, and backhand from Wu, backhand from Bublik, and eventually a backhand wide into the tram lines. And an extended exchange, Bublik coming out on top. Bublik staying solid there, and Wu was eventually the one that cracked. It's love 15. And serve out wide goes out from Wu. Second serve in, returned by Bublik. Wu going big on the forehands. Forehand there from Bublik. Backhand cross court from Wu. Backhands being exchanged here, and it's Bublik who goes up the line and then draws the error from Wu Yibing. He slid into that forehand, but he sends it long, and it's love 30 in the last game as well. The last service game from Wu went to love 30, but he eventually held by winning all the remaining points in that game. So let's see if we can make a similar response here. Yeah, Wu serving. Yeah, serve down the middle. It is returned, but then he hits the backhand slice, and Bublik goes for the drop shot. Oh, and Wu does get there. Bublik tries to go for the pass, but it goes into the net, into the high part of the net. He's going for the backhand up the line, but into the net. So it's 15-30, and Wu did well because it wasn't a bad little drop shot there from Bublik. Yeah, it was nicely, executed there from Wu, getting to the ball and getting it deep. It made it awkward for Bublik. Serve now for Wu down the middle. Also, it's out. Second serve it will be. Yeah, and backhand return goes long, so it's 30-all. Similar to the last service game from Wu. 30-all now. Serve is in from Wu, and it is returned pretty well. The chip return from Bublik, and a bit of an exchange here. Bublik backhand cross court. Oh, and then eventually the backhand going long from Wu. So it's 30-40, and a first break point now for Bublik. And yeah, it looks like Bublik's going to take this one. Yeah, second serve from Wu. Yeah, and that was returned by Bublik deep enough, and it draws the backhand error from Wu. His backhand going into the net, and that is the first break of the match for the Kazakh player, Bublik. He leads 3-2. Yeah, not ideal, of course, for Wu, who, yeah, obviously playing against a player like Bublik, not going to get many breakpoint opportunities. Bublik just took his first breakpoint opportunity of the match. Wu has yet to carve out any breakpoints yet. Of course, we're still early on here. Still a long way to go, but at the moment, Bublik looking pretty comfortable. Yeah, and as well as the physical fatigue as well for Wu. There's a certain amount of mental fatigue as well that may come into it. Yeah, there's that as well. So yeah, Bublik really just has had a tremendous year as well. I mean, you know, as well before this, he went after Wimbledon. He went to play Gstaad clay tournament, and he actually won that. He came out as the champion. So he's shown results on all the surfaces, and yeah, it's just been a great year for him, a most consistent year of his career, really. And that run as well in the French Open to the quarterfinals, it's not one that maybe he expected, but he absolutely loved that moment. He said it was the best moment of his life to be able to make that quarterfinal. Oh yeah, that was Wu coming into the net there, but Bublik coming out on top in that one, in that little exchange. So 15-love, Bublik. Second serve, Bublik. But the return goes into the net from Yibing. I love Bublik to serve. First serve in. Returned by Wu, but eventually he hits his own backhand cross court, but it goes long, and Bublik coming through comfortably in his service game once again. Bublik serves, goes long. Second serve it will be. Returned by Wu, and that's a lovely drop shot on the backhand side from Bublik from the baseline. And you have to say, Bublik is looking very comfortable. 4-2 for player who represents Kazakhstan. You can hear the Chinese crowd, the Hangzhou crowd, willing Wu on. Oh, Bublik going for another drop shot there, but it was a bit of a failure, that one. It goes into the net. And so 15-love to Wu. Yeah, good serve though from Wu to follow up. 30-love. Serve down the tee. Bublik could get a racket to it, but nothing more. Good return there from Bublik. First serve going in from Wu. And eventually, Wu is the one that makes the error. His forehand going cross-court into the tram lines. Yeah, that was a nice return there, just from Bublik, just making it deep, and it allowed him to get into that point. But 30-15 still to Wu, and that's a good serve out wide. It's unreturned, 40-15. Yeah, and a great ace down the tee from Wu Yibing to hold, and he keeps himself just that one break behind, 4-3 for Bublik. Wu Yibing, by the way, is a US Open champion at junior level. Yeah, and he has obviously had a lot of promise for a long time, and it's been a bit stop-start, of course, with the injuries and various issues that he's had. And you know, that title run in Dallas, I was on indoors, on a hard court indoors, and yeah, that was a great run for Wu Yibing, and that really announced him on the stage. I mean, made history for his own country by becoming the first ATP player, you know, first player to win an ATP title from China. And yeah, you know, there's a lot of hype. I mean, he did have a good year then. He eventually went to, I think, US Open for the first time, made the third round. But yeah, some injuries came and then some struggles. And yeah, had a good run last year in Shanghai. But yeah, it's been two stop-start. But coming back since this summer, winning on the Challenger Tour again, it's been more promising. And yeah, obviously this run bodes well for him, regardless of whether he wins today or not. But yeah, he'll be heading into Beijing and then into Shanghai, you know, with his head held high and you know, chances, I think, to do more damage, assuming his body holds up. But everything looking pretty good right now as Bublik comes out to serve. Oh, that is a great return there from Wu Yibing. Bublik banged that one very hard. It was down quite central, but somehow Wu gets the backhand on it and redirects it up the line, and that's enough. Yeah, Bublik just couldn't really do anything there. Bublik serves, tried to go down the middle, goes wide. He's going to have a second serve now. Oh, and that's a very hard second serve. That's a good response there from Bublik. Yeah, really upping the aggression and drawing the error from Wu, 15 all. Yeah, and a good serve out wide. That's an ace there to bring it to 30-15. Bublik, yeah, frustrating player. I mean, he can do a little bit of everything. And yeah, that serve is so good. Big serve down the tee, but it's a let. Yeah, good serve though. Oh, but it is return somehow. The return just makes the line from Wu, and it surprises Bublik, and he hits his forehand into the net. 30 all. Yeah, the crowd getting excited there, really willing Wu on. Cheers have come on. Good first serve though from Bublik, and he goes back in behind Wu. Wu does return it, but nice backhand back in behind Wu, wrong footing him. And yeah, Bublik is up 40-30 with a game point. Okay, serve from Bublik. That's a let, though. That was a that was a lethal looking serve, but it did clip the tape, so it's going to be a let. It was 220 kilometers an hour clock there. Second serve, though, it's going to. Oh, sorry, first serve again. Wow, that was extremely hard, and that was out, though. 223. What's it going to be now? Second serve here for Bublik. That was a good serve, but it was returned well by Wu. He sliced backhand from him, then a forehand. Oh, that's a nice drop shot on the backhand side from Wu, and it's a winner. And it's at deuce. Yeah, huge cheers from the Chinese crowd for the home favorite, but Wu did appear to be grimacing a little bit. I mean, obviously he had that shoulder issue, but oh, that's a good response from Bublik. He just responds with an ace out wide, and he probably enjoyed that one. Yeah, Bublik gets the advantage, and I think he's going to bang down another ace here. Won't be surprised if that's the case. Yeah. Yeah, ace down the tee. And that's just frustrating because obviously good work from Wu's point of view. For him to get into that juice, some great play. But then Bublik just be able to follow that up with a couple of aces, bang down, and job done for him to hold. And he's 5-3, still just the one break in it. But Wu's got to come out and hold here and keep himself in this set. Dante Bettini there is the coach of Yibing. He formerly worked with Kei Nishikori. Of course, Kei, the top ranked Asian player of all time on the ATP rankings. Oh, good drop shot there from Bublik. Wu gets there, but Bublik is able to hit into the open court easily. It's love 15 on the Wu serve, and of course, this is trouble for Wu. Wu does seem to be struggling a little bit. But I feel like Wu's going to keep fighting, not least because this is in his hometown. Good serve there from Wu. It is returned, though, by Bublik. Forehand, cross-court from Wu. Forehand from Bublik goes long and is 15 all. Yeah, let there from Wu. So another first service. Ooh. Yeah, a little bit awkward looking that one there. Was returned by Bublik, and then Wu going inside out. But I mean, his positioning looked all wrong. So yeah, 15-30. Yeah, Defunk, thanks for joining. Yeah, Wu doesn't give up. It's a great attitude to have in tennis. Well, yeah, it seems like he has been fighting hard. And perhaps he does have a physical issue, but yeah, I don't think he's going to give up. But that's a good return there. The serve was out wide, but Bublik runs around the backhand and hits that forehand winner up the line. And now he's got 2 set points. And in fairness to Bublik, he has looked pretty locked in, you have to say. First serve from Wu. It is returned by Bublik. Backhand from Wu does enough to draw the error. It was quite deep, and it draws the error from Bublik 30-40. So Wu saving one of those set points. but it served from Wu. It is chip return from Bublik. It's in. Backhand to backhand here. Forehand from Bublik. Backhand from Wu. Backhand from Bublik. And then it's the backhand up the line, but it goes into the net from Wu. So Bublik takes the first set 6-3. Excellent 6-3. Good question, Defunk. Are you going to cover a lot of ATP in Asia or just certain players? Yeah, certainly we will focus on the Asian players, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we won't focus on other matches too, because yeah, we will be focusing on the Asian tournaments. This is the Asia swing. So yeah, it's good for us in our time zone. And yes, we'll be doing coverage of not only Hangzhou, but also the upcoming Beijing tournament, which is a 500 for the men's and a 1,000 event for the women. So a lot to look forward there. And like, we're going to probably do a preview of the draw. And yeah, we'll be talking about not only the Asian players, but generally how that might play out. Obviously, it's exciting because we've got, also Tokyo as well coming up. Carlos Alcaraz is playing in Tokyo. And yeah, that's, I think, the first time for him. So yeah, it's a lot to look forward to. In terms of like, you know, obviously we talked about Asian players, but I mean, a lot of the Chinese players, you know, the three main Chinese players, Jerry Shang and Triple Z, Zhang Zhizhen, and of course this player here, Wu Yibing, they've had their troubles with injuries, and but now they're all back fit and playing at the same time. So yeah, certainly, you know, Zhang as well. I mean, he's an exciting player, a lot of upside to his game, and it'd be interesting to see how he can do. He's just back as well. And then also on the women's side, you got Zheng Qinwen, who, you know, she won the gold medal at the Paris Olympics. And that was obviously a huge thing for her and for Chinese tennis. Yeah, she's finally back. And obviously she is a player who can be winning some of these big tournaments. Yeah, like a 1,000. So we'll be seeing how she does, and quite a few other Asian players coming through in terms of Janice Chen is in the qualification. She's from Indonesia. She made waves at the US Open and then just made the final in Sao Paulo, finishing a runner-up. So some expectation there. She came through a qualification match today, but she'll have to get through another match tomorrow if she's going to make the main draw. Good start here, though. It's Bublik has come out serving well, but it is, oh, that was a double fault, I think, to make it 15-0. So yes, good serve out wide. That's an ace there again from Bublik. Yeah, so yeah, the season isn't over yet, and it's still important for some of these bigger players. I mean, it's a battle as well on the women's side. Is Iga going to overtake Sabalenka in the rankings? And of course, it's very much intrigue always with Sinner and Alcaraz. You know, they're still playing to try and finish the year as the year-end number one. Yeah, really nice backhand up the line there from Bublik. And I mean, I think, you know, I was saying before as well, you know, Bublik's a player that, you know, he likes to be aggressive and finish the points short. But I mean, he's been able to hang as well in the rallies and, you know, keeping aggressive. But, you know, he's absolutely, you know, he's got a great all-round game, Bublik. So at the moment, the way he plays, there's no way that anyone really wants to play him. He's going to be a tough player to play. Yeah. Where are you based? I'm guessing you're not in Asia, or you're somewhere else. But yeah, it's nice for us though, because we cover the tennis, and obviously the Asian tournaments are in our time zone, and it's just much easier for us. I mean, US Open was quite a nightmare because it involved just like the North American swing, basically, just some late nights. Ah, yes, in New Zealand. Okay, so somewhat similar time zones. So it's the Asian swing is certainly better for us in this side of the world. Yeah, such skill though there from Bublik. I mean, that forehand there with the kind of squash shot, it was just a great defensive shot, and eventually comes out on top. And Bublik is just playing at a really high level these days. Okay, so yeah, you're quite far ahead in New Zealand after midnight. It's just it's coming up to 20 past 9 in the evening here. I'm in Seoul, South Korea. But that's just an hour ahead of the Chinese time zone, so not bad for us to be able to watch these tournaments. It's 15 all here. Serve from Wu goes out, so it's going to be a second serve. Ooh, another error there from Wu, and that felt a little bit tired, that forehand there from Wu. I just wonder if he's feeling a little bit of that fatigue, and obviously if he's hurting. Oh, goes long there from Wu. Second serve, it is in. Regressive return there from Bublik, but Wu manages to handle it. Oh, and that's a tremendous passing shot up the line from the backhand. He was working really hard on that point, Bublik. I mean, that was Bublik really fighting to take that point. And yeah, and sprinting to get that backhand, and then he takes up the line. That's just a really, really tremendous shot. And yeah, Bublik really just does mean business this year. You can see Wu's struggling here to just stay in the rally, and that's again an aggressive backhand up the line that Wu just can't respond to. And it's 2-love. Bublik takes that break, and it's not looking good for Wu because he hasn't looked close really to getting a break of his own, and it's never easy, is it, when you have to play a guy who serves out so well. So second serve though it will be to start here. Decent return though from Wu, and yeah, Bublik sends his forehand long. Yeah, and it's obviously like if you in this new form of Bublik, if you're going to have to, if he's the one, he's the one banging down these serves so well, and he has that in his locker, and then he's also able to grind out some of these rallies. He becomes a really tough player for most players to face, and unless you're, a Yannick Sinner or Carlos Alcaraz, maybe you can handle it pretty well. Although, of course, Bublik did beat Sinner this year, one of the few players to do that in Halle. Oh, nice drop shot there. And then Bublik is there to finish it off. I mean, Wu did get there, but it's really nice play there. And you can see why people are enjoying Bublik's tennis so much, but especially this year. Big serve out wide again, and that's another ace. 3-love. And yeah, it's very much looking like Bublik is going to be the one spoiling the party in Hangzhou. Of course, the home crowd hoping to have their player make the final, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. It didn't look like that would, that Wu would make it to the semi-final yesterday, I have to admit. I mean, I sort of written up his chances when he was down a set and a break, and he almost went down a double break in that second set. And to be fair to him, he hung in there, and yeah, and that eventually gave him the chance to break back when Medvedev was serving for the match. And of course, the rest is history, and he got that win in the end, and credit to him for doing that. I think it's going to be more difficult for him to come back right now, as I said, with the way Bublik has been serving and doing in his service games. But should say in the other semi-final, it was Valentin Royer making the final 6-3, 6-2. I think that's his first ATP final. He came through against Corentin Moutet, so the other Frenchman. So there'll be a Frenchman, Royer, waiting in the final. Elsewhere, there's also the tournament in Chengdu going on, which is also in China. And it was actually, I missed that result, but Alejandro Tabilo beat Brandon Nakashima 6-4, 7-6. So that's a little bit of a surprise because I thought Nakashima was playing very well. But yeah, Tabilo gets the victory, and it's Musetti who also won 6-3, 6-1. So final between the Italian Musetti and Tabilo of Chile. So now, Wu now to serve. That was a good return there from Bublik. And yeah, just Bublik making it so difficult for Wu, and that's love 15. Yeah, serve out wide there, working for Wu. Bublik's return going long, so 15 all. Good serve there from Wu. Oh, but it is chip return from Bublik, and another sort of tired looking forehand sent long from Wu. 15-30 now. And now this is great trouble. Yeah, decent serve though. The return going into the net, 30 all. First serve is in. Bublik does return it. And that is eventually a tremendous forehand up the line there from Wu. And we've seen that a few times. I mean, he's so good off both wings, just great power, and just hits the ball so well, so clean. And that's a good serve down the middle, but again, returned by Bublik. He tries to hit the backhand up the line, but it's an error into the net. And that's a good hold for Wu. 3-1. Bublik leads, but still just won the break. One break in this set. Yeah, Bublik to serve. Yeah, good ace down the tee there from Bublik. Yeah, it might not be long left in this match. Yeah, another serve down the tee, but that is returned. I mean, Wu got it, but then it went out. This return going long, so it wasn't a bad effort, but yeah, just a bit long. And 30 love. Bublik seems to be racing through his game, though. Another ace, 40 love. Yeah, and another ace. That's the 15th ace of the match for Bublik. And it's, yeah, doesn't look like Wu is going to be able to get back into this one, barring some good fortune, perhaps a delay or an injury of Bublik. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. As I said, I wrote him off against Medvedev. I didn't think he'd be able to come back, but of course, Medvedev has had his struggles. And I think, you know, to some people, that wasn't the biggest surprise that Medvedev actually managed to crumble when Wu managed to just keep the pressure on. It's not been a great year or so for Medvedev, or even longer, but Bublik is very much in a different place in his game in terms of, you know, he's playing some of the best tennis of his career. So yeah, he's confident, and he's carrying that forward in this tournament. Yeah. Yeah, you said it there. Mehdi is having a terrible season. Yeah, he's just in a bad place at the moment, and he has a new coach. I mean, obviously this wasn't the best start for that partnership, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, still early for that, but see how he does in some of the bigger tournaments coming up. Obviously, that's going to be more important for him. Oh, yeah. Bublik going big up the line there, but it goes into the tram line. So 15 love. Second serve from Wu. Return big from Bublik, but it hits the net and just drops on his side. So Wu gets the point, 30 love. Serve now from Wu. Down the tee, but it's out. Second serve. Lands in. Backhand return from Bublik. But Wu tries to go big up the line, and his ball goes into the nets. 30-15. Good serve down the tee there. Oh, yeah, and the aggression there from Wu going big in that forehand cross court, but it just goes wide, and 30 all. And certainly, you can feel that, you know, he's really wanting to swing and go for these winners. Perhaps he doesn't want to take these rallies too long. Yeah, but that's a good serve. The Bublik tries to chip it, but it goes long. Serve out wide, 43-30. These points are going quickly. Serve from Wu. Down the tee. It is returned well from Bublik, and then Wu tries to go inside out. It was an awkward one, and it goes into the tram line. It's deuce. And yeah, I think perhaps, Wu, if he's struggling, and doesn't want to overexert himself, obviously big tournaments coming up for him in, Beijing and Shanghai. So, oh yeah, it was a good return then. And yeah, Wu again snatching at that forehand that goes into the net is advantage Bublik. And pretty much this is a match point here. if the win was not already secured for Bublik. Oh, but it's a good serve down the tee from Wu. Oh, and it was Bublik was hanging in there, and he tried to go for a big forehand up the line, but it's wide, and point back to Wu. It's deuce. Serve it wide from Wu, and it was returned, but then Wu directs that forehand up the line. Wasn't the strongest one, but it's just directed well enough that Bublik can't get it back, and it's advantage Wu. So from Wu, that was an attempt down the tee, but it's very wide. Second serve. And Bublik does return, but Wu sends his forehand into the net. Deuce. Yeah, and Wu does just look a bit, well, he looks like he's struggling. Wow. The racket goes flying out of his hand as that serve goes out, but Wu comes to take the second serve. It lands in and it's returned by Bublik. Forehand. Yeah, a bit of an injection of pace with that forehand, and it's enough to rush Bublik, and he makes an error. So advantage to Wu. And you have to say credit to him, obviously. Physical struggles, but he's definitely still fighting. Out by Wu. Second serve. Yeah, and it's just enough that second serve. It goes in, and Bublik's return goes into the net, and a big roar from the Hangzhou crowd, and they still think Wu can do something here. So 4-2 is the lead for Bublik. Still just one break. So Bublik to serve, but as I said, Wu hasn't really come close to generating break points on the Bublik serve, and he's going to have to if he's going to get back into this. But I mean, that was the same thing against Medvedev. He didn't have any break points until Medvedev was serving for the match, and then Wu got 2 break points, and he took the second one, and eventually took that second set. Second serve at 15 love from Bublik. Oh, but it was going big there on that second serve. It goes long, and it's 15 all. Double fault from Bublik. But I don't think that's going to deter Bublik. He's going to keep trying to bash down these serves. Yeah, another big serve out wide, an ace. Huge ace count for the Kazakh player. Wow, that was a great return there from Wu. He managed to stretch for it. but he seems to have done some damage. He bends over and seemingly in pain. I don't know if he stretched something there. 40-15 though for Bublik. Yeah, I mean, Wu wants to be careful. Obviously, he's got his been out with injuries, and that must have been a let there because that serve landed in, and Wu didn't get to it, but it's being retaken. But Bublik serves into the net. Second serve it will be, but yeah, he does hold on with Wu unable to return that serve. So 5-2, Bublik in the second set, and he's just going to need one more game to take the match. You have to say it's been a very nice, competent, professional match there, Bublik. Ivy said he needs to put some money on it, under 22 games to win $200. Yeah, well, we're only at, 16 games now? I think that's probably going to come true for you, Ivy. Yeah, I mean, it's clear. I mean, obviously tough 2 matches for Wu to come through, but especially that last one against Medvedev. I mean, I don't think he's in the best shape physically right now. I mean, I'm not sure he should be exerting himself too much, perhaps. Or he's grabbing his left, was it the hamstring there? I think it was maybe the left hamstring from Wu there when he, they're showing the replay of him grimacing and bending over. It looked like his hand was on the back of his left leg, but only Wu knows what's really up there. But yeah, the crowd still cheering on Wu, willing him on as he comes out to serve. Good serve down the tee unreturned. 15-love. Second serve. Yeah, again, a great serve down the tee that Bublik sends his ball long. That serve going wide. Second serve for Wu. But again, the return from Bublik going long. 40-love for Wu, and he could do with a quick service hold. And yeah, just hope that maybe Bublik cracks when he's trying to serve at the match. Yeah, good serve. And that is the serve and volley from Wu. Very aggressive, but that was well done from him. Yeah, just the right play at the right time, and he takes that game. It's 5-3 for Bublik. And Bublik now serving for the match. Yeah, cheers for Defunct. Yeah, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good one. Good night. But Bublik looks like he is just racing through his service game, as he has done all day pretty much. Big ace out wide. And there's nothing that can quiet a home crowd quicker than a quick service game. Cheers, Defunct. Second service it will be from Bublik. Oh no, it was a let there. Big serve. Was returned by Wu. We're in an extended exchange. Big backhand cross court from Bublik, though, and that was well executed. Wu unable to deal with that, and it's 40-love 3 match points for the Kazakhstani player. And it's Bublik serves, and yeah, the return from Wu goes into the net. So that is Bublik who emerges the winner, 6-3, 6-3. They share a little smile and a handshake at the net. I think Bublik's consoling there Wu nicely. I think he knows that there was a bit of a struggle there from Wu, and obviously devastated for him, obviously, to to lose like this in front of his home crowd. But and you have to say, good, competent, great performance really from Bublik. Very efficient. And yeah, just he did exactly what he had to do. Served tremendously. Had to grind out when he had to grind out some points. He did tremendously. Some defending as well, and some great passing shots, and then a few drop shots here and there that were well executed. And yeah, tremendous on serve as well from Bublik. I mean, what are the stats there? We've got 19 aces from the Kazakh player. So you can see that there, 19 aces banged down. And yeah, of course, Wu struggling physically, was unable to create any break points. 3 out of 5 on break points for Bublik. But yeah, he's just looking like a different sort of player this year. And Bublik should be going into that final very confident. He'll be taking on Valentin Royer tomorrow evening in Hangzhou. And yeah, I certainly think he's going to be a big favourite to take that one with the way he's been playing. And it's going to be interesting to see if Bublik, obviously this is a 250 tournament, but, he's going to be wanting to make his impact at some of the bigger tournaments we've got, obviously Beijing 500, and then, subsequent to that, the Shanghai Masters, he's definitely going to be wanting to make his mark. But Wu as well, hopefully he can, recover from this and be, fit enough. I mean, nice for him just to make the semi-finals. As I said, it was his first semi-final since making, winning the title in Dallas in 2023. But thanks for joining. Those of you who have joined and are still here. It's been a good stream. Nice match. Unfortunately, maybe would have liked it to have been a bit longer, but we're going to hopefully be doing more streams, perhaps the final tomorrow. If not, certainly in this Asian swing, and also be doing some previews for the upcoming tournament in Beijing and in Tokyo. And yeah, this has been a good victory for Bublik. But I have to sign off now, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for joining.